Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought we would do something a little bit different and go over some of my recent favorites. Just things that I've actually been reaching for on a daily basis. I've got a little bit of everything here, some beauty, some skincare, so hang tight. If that's something you're interested in watching, then you are in the right place. We are about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
Hi guys, so I know people tend to do like monthly favorites and things like that, but I don't want to get like stuck in a rut where we're doing like monthly favorites every month. But every once in a while, I do like to come on here and just talk to you guys about the things that I have found myself reaching for on an everyday or every other day basis that have become things that are what I consider top shelf on my vanity, and they're in my daily rotation just because I know that these products are tried and true for me, and maybe they might be products that you guys would enjoy as well. So we have everything here from tools to skincare to beauty, but it's gonna be a lot, so we're gonna go pretty quick just so you guys aren't sitting here with me for an hour. I know that would just be torture. Well, and I'm a talker, so God knows we'll be here forever if we don't go fast. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to start with is actually kind of a dupe. So I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who had brought up one of my favorite Drunk Elephant products, and that is the TLC Sakari Baby Facial. Now, for those of you that have never used this product, this is a pretty extreme AHA, BHA chemical exfoliant mask. So it's one of those masks that you put on your face. You only leave it on for 5 or 10 minutes. It gives you a pretty extreme tingle. Usually people with sensitive skin can't handle it too well because it does have a little bite to it, but when you rinse it off, you really genuinely are left with such soft skin, smooth as a baby's butt, which is where that name comes from. It also has a lot of brightening properties in it as well, and it's just really good to do once or twice a week just to encourage cell turnover on your face. And a lot of people notice that it does a great job when it comes to kind of resurfacing and getting rid of texture as well. So this has become a favorite of mine. However, it's $80 a bottle. So this is probably the third bottle of this that I have bought because it is so good, and Drunk Elephant is well known for their ingredients. Well, my friend and I were discussing this, and she said, you know, there is a dupe out there and it's only $29, and instead of just 1.6 ounces of product, you actually get 4 ounces of product with this one. And again, it's only $29. I was incredibly skeptical because I didn't think there was any way that another product out there would be able to stand up to Drunk Elephant from an ingredient standpoint. So I decided to do a little investigation, and I went to the website. The name of this brand is called Lather. The name of the website is called lather.com, and Lather has a specific treatment that's called the 10-minute brightening mask with glycolic acid, and it's this tub right here. I'll give you guys a close-up of it so you can actually see it. As you can see, it's quite a large tub. It's got 4 fluid ounces of product in it. It is a huge amount for a mask, and again, it's only $29. Now, when you first look at this, they call this a brightening mask that includes glycolic acid. They say that this is only supposed to be left on the skin for 5 to 10 minutes, very similar to the Sakari Baby Facial from Drunk Elephant. But when you get into the ingredients list, that's where things really get interesting. So you guys know me, I research everything, and I literally just took all of the ingredients from the Drunk Elephant and put them here, and took all of the ingredients from the Lather product and put it here, and I genuinely just sat down and went through every single ingredient, and I found some really surprising things. A couple of things. First of all, they have all of the same things as far as those core ingredients. So the second ingredient ingredients in both formula is glycolic acid, which is fantastic. And I love the fact that it's the second ingredient in both formulas. Now, what I found was surprising is where other core ingredients that you really want in these formulas, like niacinamide is a great example. So when you look at the Drunk Elephant formula, niacinamide is actually right here. So you guys can see all of this that's on top of it. For it to be down here on the second to last row, number one for Drunk Elephant, I was surprised. But then when I looked at the Lather formula, niacinamide, or vitamin B3, however you want to call it, is right here. It's actually the fourth ingredient behind water, glycolic acid, triglycerides, niacinamide. And that is a powerhouse of a top 4 ingredient list. And again, that's from the Lather Beauty ingredients. Now, Drunk Elephant also has a couple of things up here, like salicylic acid, etc., that is down here in the Lather formula as well. As a matter of fact, they share pretty much all of the same core ingredients. There are a couple of things that the Lather formula has that the Drunk Elephant formula doesn't have that I really like. If you guys have been around on this channel for any length of time, you know what a fan I am of squalene and how good it is for the skin and the amazing results that I personally have gotten from using squalene. Squalene is included in the Lather formula and it's not in the Drunk Elephant formula. Another ingredient that I really like is licorice root extract, and a lot of people have become familiar with that particular ingredient as a result of the Sunday Riley Good Jeans moisturizer. Licorice root is one of the big ingredients in the Sunday Riley Good Jeans formula and is a well-renowned brightening ingredient that is super good, but it is kind of a luxe ingredient, so you typically only see it in the higher end formulas. Licorice root is in the Lather formula, but not in the Drunk Elephant formula. So not only does the Lather formula have all of those kind of core ingredients that the Drunk Elephant formula has, but has more of them and has some additional ingredients that is missing from the Drunk Elephant formula. And other than that, the formula list is really just the differences are the fruit, flower, and seed extract. So in the Drunk Elephant formula, they have like different flower, they have apple extract, they have some different kind of seed oil, and then in the Lather they have like different like mulberry extract and different kinds of seed oil and different kinds of fruit oil in the Lather formula. That's really where a lot of the differences are, is in how they each utilized flower, fruit, and seed extracts. But from a chemical perspective, when you're looking at the B3, which is the niacinamide, the glycolic acid, salicylic acid, squalene, licorice root, all of those kind of amazing things that make this formula so powerful on the face, the Lather formula has them all, and in some instances in a higher concentration. So needless to say, I flipped out after I researched the ingredient list, did the comparison. I absolutely placed an order. Again, it's 4 ounces, you guys. It's $29. I have been using this for the last 30 days and I absolutely love it. And I promise you this, I will never spend $80 on that mask ever again. When I can get it for $29, it's a better, more potent, more powerful mask. My results, now don't get me wrong, I saw results from this. They were results that you see after using it for a couple of weeks, and they're small results that accumulate over time like most skincare does. With this, I saw immediate results when it came to brightening, and that has a lot to do with the licorice root. But I didn't get as irritated after this, which has a lot to do with the squalene. So I liked using this formula better, but within a week to 2 weeks, I was seeing results from this that took quite a long time to accumulate with the Drunk Elephant Olefin formula. So I love it. I want to recommend it to you guys. Check it out. Again, it's Lather.com. It's the 10-minute brightening mask with glycolic acid. They also are vegan. They're cruelty-free. This is a vegan formula. I also got a little kit from them that is specifically made for combination skin. It has 5 products in it, including a mask. It has a moisturizer. It has an exfoliating cleanser, a regular cleanser, a toner, and then a mask for like my trouble areas, my T-zone. It's a little kit that was customized for combination skin, and it was $29, and all of the products in that little kit are not minis. They're like big 1 full fluid ounce, like what you would consider to be like, I would say they were even bigger than like a luxury trial size. They were pretty. I've used that kit for over a month now, and I still have plenty more left to go. So the kit will probably last you about 2 months when it comes to daily use. And you get that whole kit for $29. And then once you've had an opportunity to try all the products in that kit, you can go onto the website and order the ones that you like individually. And even when you order stuff individually off this site, you're talking about a price point of $12, $18, $20 in some cases. So they're incredibly reasonable. Their ingredient list is spot on. They're vegan, they're cruelty-free. It's great. Check them out, Lather.com. All right, next is actually a tool and something that I've really been enjoying that I didn't think I would, and that is the Sigmagic Scrub. And this little sucker has made cleaning my brushes a breeze. If you guys haven't seen this, it's absolutely quite amazing. So it has a lid on it. You take the lid off of it, and you have this like silicone, they're like teeth in here, and beneath that layer of teeth is actually soap, like a solid brush cleanser. And it has suction cups on the back. You stick it to your sink, you take the lid off of it when you're ready to wash your brushes, you swirl your brushes around in here. When you're done, you just pop the lid back on it. The water actually drains out from underneath here. It allows for the water to drain, so it's just kind of stuck to the inside of your sink until you're ready to use it, or you can just take it out and throw it in the cabinet if you don't want to leave it stuck to your sink. This is amazing. It has made cleaning my brushes a snap. I absolutely love it. It's absolutely worth the money, and I wanted to let you guys know about it in case any of you guys have like the dreaded issue with cleaning your brushes. It's so funny. My sister comes over all the time, and if you guys don't know, she is not only my sister, but she's also half owner of the makeup studio that we both own here in the greater Philadelphia area. She has been a makeup artist for years and years, and she always comes over and says, oh my gosh, how do you keep your brushes clean? And the answer is simple. I clean them after I use them. Which I know a lot of us don't do. We actually wait and we do it like once a week or whatever. But when you have a product like this, it makes it super easy. It takes 2 seconds. You swirl it through, rinse it off, lay it on the counter. In the morning, they're dry. You pick them up and pop them into your holder, and you're good to go, and you have clean brushes for the next day. So I think this is absolutely worth it. I love it, and yeah, definitely check this out. Alright, so next let's get into some tools, and for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, I have fallen in love with 2 very specific sponges. The first one is this sponge by Elsie. I know I have talked about this a lot. Elsie Cosmetics makes this sponge. It's called the Velvet Sponge. It is amazing. When it's damp, it swells up and it's really big. The bottom here is fantastic for blending in foundation. The pointy tip here is great for really getting into areas that you really need to get into. It's the perfect texture. It's the perfect feel. It's cheaper than the Beauty Blender. In my opinion, the quality is much nicer. It's very durable. I don't have to worry about it tearing when I wash it because of my nails. It has really withstood a lot, and it's still hanging in there. So this is a great buy at Elsie Cosmetics, and is probably my most reached for sponge at the moment. Second only to the Wander Beauty Sponge. Now, this beauty blender, it's called the Wander Cushion by Wander Cosmetics, if for those of you that have never heard of Wander. This is very much more like beauty blender-ish. However, the difference between this and an actual beauty blender or the Real Technique sponge is that this is very luxe feeling. This just feels, and I don't know how to explain it other than it's very thick, it's very soft and plush, and it just feels exquisite. It feels like a very high quality beauty blender. It feels like a luxe beauty blender. It doesn't feel like you just have a hand full of, like, you know, foam like the beauty blender feels like. This feels more like a denser material, and it feels more very velvety on the outside. So when you actually are applying your makeup, the airbrush finish that you get from this sponge is stunning. But if you guys haven't checked out the beauty sponge from Wander Beauty, if you get a chance to pick it up, I would absolutely recommend that you pick it up. It's beautiful because it's like, you can tell it's just a very high quality sponge. It's incredibly durable. It hasn't torn on me. It washes out very easily. I love this. And again, it's called the Wander Cushion by Wander Beauty. So the next brush that I have been reaching for on a daily basis is this little beauty right here. And this is actually from Morphe. This is the G38 brush. And it looks like a very unassuming, very simple little brush. But you guys, this is the best concealer brush that I have ever found. This is the best. Number one, it's very soft. So there's no scratchy poking you when you're using this brush. Number two, the bristles are incredibly dense. So the ability to press your concealer in is amazing. It blends your concealer out beautifully, and it's just the perfect concealer brush, you guys. This brush is everything. And if you just put your concealer on like this, just pounce it in, not only is it really getting it into the skin so your concealer isn't like sitting on top of the skin, it's really getting it in there. If you have texture underneath the eyes, like fine lines, wrinkles like I do, you need something like this to really get the product into the skin and really get it into like the folds and the fine lines underneath the eyes. It makes for a beautiful application of concealer. You guys will thank me for it. It's not gonna break the bank. It is a gorgeous brush and it works beautifully, and it's so soft, and it's one of the few under eye brushes out there that doesn't feel like you're putting that scratchy kind of goat hair underneath the eye that really is like prickly and kind of pokes that really sensitive area underneath there. I'm telling you guys, for cream liquid products, this is going to be your jam. I love this for concealer application. And again, that's the Morphe G38. Now this is a brush that I've actually had for quite a while. This is the Sheer Powder Brush by Smashbox, but this is quite an interesting brush. As you can see, the shape of it is quite odd. And the reason that it's shaped the way that it is because this is meant for a very, very light dusting of powder. So if you were going to just do a very light dusting of like finishing powder on the face, that is the intended purpose of this particular brush. Now the reason I've been reaching for this brush is because it does pick up minimal product, but it lays that product down beautifully. So I know this is supposed to be intended for sheer powder application. I just took that concept and applied it to a product that I like to apply in a sheer, light, airbrushed way, which is blush. So I just put this in the blush, and it's got a perfect shape to it. I just dust it right here, and you guys, this lays down the perfect amount of product. It buffs your blush in so beautifully. This is the perfect blush brush. I think that they should change the name of this to the blush brush. This sucker is everything. And it's by Smashbox, so it's incredibly high quality. They have the grooves here, so you can either hold it in the back here where you have a little bit more of a free hand, or if you want a more concentrated application, you can grip it in the grip that it has towards the front. All these brushes by Smashbox that are in this line are actually quite expensive. I think this one was probably, I'm not sure, I think it was like 30 something, but they are well crafted, they're well worth it, and this brush is my favorite blush brush. And if you're looking for a really good blush brush, pick this one up. This one will never let you down. Another thing that I've been reaching for a lot that I don't really talk about a lot on this channel, and I don't really know why, but I deal with a lot of redness. If you guys have watched my videos in the past, then you've seen that not only do I have a lot of hyperpigmentation on my cheeks, but I also have a lot of redness on my face, especially up in this area. I have a lot of redness here through the center of my face. I just tend to deal with a lot of redness overall in my tone. I do find that especially during the summertime, I do get a lot of flushing happening. Through a series of unfortunate events, I was thrown into menopause at a very young age. So I deal with a lot of hot flashes, so I flush a lot and I get a lot of redness to my skin. But as my hormones have depleted, I also have noticed that I just have a rosier tone to my face in addition to the redness that I actually deal with. So there's a good way to neutralize redness on the skin if you deal with patches of redness on your skin anywhere. Even with a lot of my hyperpigmentation, this has helped out a lot, and that is actually the Bye Bye Redness by It Cosmetics. Now this isn't like a green formula like a lot of people out there just assume you need to slather green all over your face to get rid of that red hue that you have to the skin. And green, when it comes to color correcting, is good for really concentrated areas that are bright red. So for example, if you have a blemish on the cheek that is bright red, it's good to touch that with a little bit of green and then put foundation over it. You can really effectively color correct with green that way. However, I have noticed just through years and trial and error and the artists that we have that slathering green all over your face as a color corrector doesn't necessarily do a great job at color correcting. What you really want to reach for is something that's called a neutralizer. So a neutralizer will actually be more of a flesh-toned neutralizer, but it does have undertones in it that offset a red hue. So these neutralizers are going to be better when it comes to things like bigger areas on the face that have a red hue or a red flush to it, big areas of rosacea on the skin. If you get a lot of redness around your nose right here, this is perfect for that. I know a lot of people that deal with redness on the corners of their eyes. This is also great for that as well. And I'll give you guys a close-up of it here. It's actually a pretty interesting color. When you just look at it, it looks like it's just any concealer color, really. And it is for all intents and purposes, but it's super concentrated when it comes to pigment. In addition to that, it has, again, what I call neutralizers in it. So it will neutralize any color that is not flesh tone that is showing underneath the skin. It's super effective with redness. It can even help a little bit when it comes to blue and green as well. So if you have like veins and certain kinds of under eye circles, so if you have under eye circles that tend to be around that reddish purplish hue, which typically comes from very fair complexions, a neutralizer would be really good for you to use to correct that. I would absolutely walk into a Sephora or an Ulta and ask for a sample of the Bye Bye Redness and take it home and play with it and see if it helps you with your specific issue. But this is super effective because it's so highly concentrated in pigment. It is basically like just blank slating your face. But I will say this, you have to go very easy with this because this is a layering product. So you don't want to put it on like a foundation and then put a foundation over top of that, because then you're gonna have too much and you're gonna end up looking a little bit cakey. So you really just take a very, very small amount and just barely touch it to the brush and then really just buff it into the skin in that area. And you'll immediately notice that it's blanking out the areas that you to buff. So if you want to just tap it in here, you want to, I tend to have to put it up here on my cheeks where I get very red, and then I do a little bit around my nose and the tip of my nose, because the tip of my nose tends to get very red as well. And one thing, it helps my foundation to stay on the tip of my nose a lot longer, in addition to my chin. Sometimes if I know I'm going to be out and it's going to be hot, I'll put some here on my chin, because it does help for the coverage to stay there longer. But it also, when I do have those hot flashes, it doesn't make, my face just doesn't get that beet red like it does throughout the course of the day when I flash. And it also helps with the redness that I have a little more permanently on my skin. So if you have never checked out the Bye Bye Redness by IT Cosmetics, it's a very effective tool when it comes to canceling out redness on the skin, and I would absolutely recommend it to you guys. Next is a concealer that I've absolutely been loving the last couple of months, and this is a product by Wander Beauty as well. If you guys couldn't tell, there's actually going to be a couple, there's one more thing in here from Wander Beauty. I've really kind of been exploring the line a little bit lately, and they have a duo here that I really, really like, and I'll tell you why. This end of the concealer is matte. So this is a matte concealer. And then this end of the concealer is much more, I don't want to say radiant, but it's more of like a hydrating concealer. So this end is more like those kind of really, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the NARS concealer that's like that matte finish. This side of it reminds me of that concealer, and this side reminds me more of the Tarte, the creaseless concealer by Tarte, like the Maracuja creaseless concealer. That's what this side reminds me of. It's just a very hydrating concealer, but I love the fact that this is a 2-in-1 product, and I'll give you guys a close-up of it here just so that you can see a little bit what it looks like. Now, I use the matte portion of this to highlight my face, so like down the bridge of my nose, the center of my forehead, anywhere that I want to brighten. And because I typically brighten in my T-zone, I like using a matte formula because it also helps to control oil throughout the course of the day. But then I can just flip it around, and I can use the side that has the doe foot applicator and use that under my eyes where I actually need a more hydrating concealer. So I absolutely love the fact that this is a 2-in-1, and I think it is freaking fantastic that somebody thought about this. I love this also as a makeup artist because I love having both products in this. So if you guys haven't checked out the Wander Beauty, it's called the Duelist Concealer, definitely check it out. This is absolutely a winner, and it's a great formula. The next product I want to talk to you guys about is again by Wander Beauty. It is a powder foundation, and when I tell you guys that this is one of the best powder foundations that I have ever come across, I am not even kidding you. So one of the ways that I like to use this is when you flip it up, it usually has this little sponge sitting here, but I don't ever use this. You just flip over this little plastic thing, which I really like that it's there, and then the powder is right here. Now, I tend to use a buffing brush when I put this on, and I'll just put the powder, I'll get it good and worked into my brush, and I will just buff it into the skin. The coverage and the pigment that is in this powder, you guys, is insane. This is going to give you medium to full coverage, yes, with a powder. One nice light layer will give you a good medium. I will spray my face with the setting powder after that, and my skin just looks like skin. This is one of the best powder foundations that I have seen in a long time, and the coverage is nuts. And I'm going to show you guys kind of a half and half application just so that you can see what kind of coverage that you can get out of this. And I'm not just going to do a full face. I just want you guys just to at least get a good concept of what the coverage itself looks like. The one thing that, again, I love about this is that it doesn't look like you have a thick layer of powder sitting on your face, which is usually my biggest issue when it comes to powder foundations. This foundation just looks like your skin. It smooths out all of your fine lines and wrinkles. It smooths out your pores. Once you hit it with some setting spray, it just settles into your skin and it looks beautiful. Once you set it with setting spray, that's how I wear it. it. It has lasted me a full 8, 9, 10-hour day. The nice part about this kind of foundation is that through the day, when you notice like the tip of your nose maybe needs a touch up or your chin, it's very easy to just touch it up. But you really don't even have to do that a lot with this particular product. I love this because this has gotten me out the door in like 15 minutes when I need to get out the door in 15 minutes, but still give me the coverage that I need. And even on days where I want to take my time and do my makeup and just look really nice, I still find myself reaching for it because it's so hot out. A lot of times we don't want to wear like, you know, the cakey foundation and the whole deal, and this feels really light. And not only that, but product lays beautifully on top of this. If you guys have never tried the Wonder Beauty powder foundation and you like powder foundations, this is one of the best powder foundations on the market. The formula is exquisite. It's genuinely really, really good. And even if you like using a setting powder that's going to give you like a more coverage, you could even use it in I would say do a light dusting because it's very pigment heavy because it has a great amount of coverage. So you could do a light dusting and use it to set your face, and it's going to give you an extra layer of coverage without looking very powdery or very cakey. And once you hit this with a setting spray, it just looks beautiful. So if you haven't tried this, I would definitely recommend that you guys give this one a shot. Alright guys, so another product that I've discovered over the course of like the last month and I've been reaching for on a daily basis is this little beauty from Essence. And it is their new mascara. It's called the Lash Princess, and it's the Sculpted Volume Mascara. And I'll give you guys a close-up of it here. Now, you guys know Essence mascara is what, less than $5 a pop? And not only is the component the cutest thing ever, but you guys, the brush and the formula when it comes to this particular mascara is absolutely beautiful. This formula is amazing. I love the way that it gives me a lot of volume. It also gives me lengthening, but it does it without clumping, and it really does a great job of separating my lashes. If you guys have not tried the Lash Princess Sculpted Volume Mascara by Essence, you've got to give this a try. This mascara has quickly become one of my favorites, and you guys know for the longest time the Kush mascara has been like my ride or die mascara. I have really loved this mascara for a really long time. I've been using this, and this came along, and I've been reaching for this over my Kush mascara for like the last couple of weeks. You guys have got to try it. It's a great mascara. It's absolutely Erika approved, and I love it. Next is an eyebrow product by MAC. If you guys have been living underneath a rock, then you may not have heard of the Shape and Shade that has come out and has become an internet sensation. Every beauty blogger is talking about this product, but there is a reason why they are. It genuinely is a great product, you guys. So you have the felt tip on one end, you have that kind of pomade spongy tip on the other, and it just makes really quick work of your brows, you guys. You just take the sponge end and you fill it in, and then I take the felt liner and do like my detail work and the outline, and it just has made my brushes just kind of a 1, 2, 3 easy peasy and done kind of process, and I really appreciate that. The color tones that they have in this particular selection are amazing. I actually have it in the color Spiked, and then I have it in like the lighter shade that's right beneath this one. So I have this in 2 different shades just to kind of, you know, give some texture and dimension to the brows, but it lasts a long time, it performs well, it makes brows a much easier process than it usually is. So this has been an absolute win, and I've reached for this one a lot. And last but not least, I just want to talk about the palettes that I've been reaching for as of lately, and honestly the 3 that are in my rotation right now may be a surprise to you, but probably not. The first one, as you guys know, I recently got the Morphe 39A, and I have not been able to put this one down. I absolutely love it. However, the more that I'm using it, the more aggravating it is that I don't have any light shades in this at all, and it's really become like a frustrating thing for me. Like every time I use this, I'm like, oh, why isn't there a light shade in this palette? But other than that, the other colors that are in here are stunning. They're gorgeous, but more than that, the formula of this palette is genuinely amazing. I honestly didn't think that they were going to duplicate like the Jaclyn Hill formula. I thought they were going to kind of keep that specific to like her products, and that all the Morphe stuff was just going to stay like, you know, the typical Morphe stuff. But this particular palette, you guys, the formula on every shade in this palette is stunning. It's so versatile. It's incredible. I reach for this daily for at least 1 or 2 colors if I'm not doing my whole look with this particular palette. I absolutely love it, and it has definitely been one of my favorites over the course of the last month. Another palette that I find myself reaching for on the daily, and this has pretty much been ever since we talked about these palettes and did a review on it. I have really not put this palette down since then, and that's the Transition palette by Pinky Rose Cosmetics. We did a whole review on Pinky Rose palettes and products from Pinky Rose, and I reviewed this palette in that particular video, and you guys, I honestly have used this palette like daily ever since then. And it's just because of the tones in this palette, and it's not just the tones, but I enjoy using it. I like the shape of it. I like holding it, but I love this kind of mustardy transition color here, and I really like these burnt orange colors, and these greens here are stunning. I use this color here in the center a lot in a lot of looks, as well as these oranges up here. I honestly reach for this palette a lot, you guys. This is probably, when I talk about my top 3 most used palettes in the last month, these were the 3 that I reached for, and this was absolutely one of them. So if you guys have never checked out the Transition palette by Pinky Rose Cosmetics, definitely check them out. You can find these at RileyRose.com, any of the Riley Rose outlets, or I think Pinky Rose actually has their own website. You can find it on there as well. The formula is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous palette, and it's on my top shelf. I grab this every day. And the third one is also from Pinky Rose, and that is the Rustic Rose palette from Pinky Rose, just because of the colors that are in this particular palette. Again, the formula is absolutely stunning. They work beautiful on the eyes, and you guys know I'm just kind of drawn to these types of colors anyway, and I really grab this a lot, like a lot. So I kind of got burnt out on the soft glam there for a while. I was really reaching for soft glam like every day. It was soft glam, nudie patootie, life's a drag. Those were the 3 palettes that were like in my rotation for a couple of months when those came out. And then it was like, gosh, I'm using these like every day. So I was like, okay, let's start using something else. And as soon as I did that, these were the first 2 that went into my rotation. And that's both of these are actually from Pinky Rose. And then recently, within the last month, I got the 39A. So of course that's been worked into my rotation. So right now, these 3 are like my ride or dies in my rotation. The color, the formula, everything about these 3 palettes is solid. So if you guys check those out, I promise you won't be disappointed. I lied. We have one more product. The Japanesque Finishing Spray. I know I talked about this in a previous video, but you guys, if you have never tried the Japanesque Finishing Spray, definitely give it a shot. I've reached for this one. It has never let me down. This has been my setting spray through the hot summer months. It has stuck in there. It's a hard worker. It's an aerosol. I love that. I love the spray that it gives. I love the fact that I can spray my face and it doesn't turn me into a glow ball. And I know that a lot of these finishing sprays, like that's the thing now, is that you want to spray your face and get really glowy and just get this beautiful, like, greasy look is what I think it looks like. I just don't like the excessively glowy face sprays. Even the Tatcha face spray, as much as I love the ingredients that are in that Tatcha Glowy Mist face spray, it just leaves my face too shiny, and I don't like that. The Morphe setting spray can sometimes make me a little more shiny than I want to be, and I find myself doing things like kind of powdering my nose after I spray the Morphe setting spray. This is one of those setting sprays that you can spray on the face and it's not going to give you like a crazy glow like a lot of is the fad now. It's not going to do that. It's just going to melt the makeup into the skin, get rid of all of those kind of powdery finishes, and extend the wear of your makeup. It's just a good workhorse that's not going to make you look overly glowy or overly greasy. So this has been a favorite, sitting on my vanity, top shelf over the course of the last month. Alright guys, so that is it, a rundown of some of the favorite products that I have been using over the course of the last couple of months. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Sorry I've kind of been MIA lately. I've only been uploading like a video or two a week. We've just wrapping up like the summer months. You guys know how it is with the families in summer and the traveling and the craziness, and I have a lot of insanity going on at the makeup studio right now, which I'll be filling you guys in on soon, so hang tight. But yeah, it's just been a little crazy lately. So we are getting back on track. Things are starting to calm down. So I am here. I'm not going anywhere. I will always be here for you guys every single week. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me, including our subscriber count, which has gotten quite high as of lately, and I really thank you guys and I appreciate you guys for that as well. If you're new here, speaking of which, make sure that you hit the subscriber button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell on your way out. Don't forget to come and join me on Instagram. Make sure that you tune into my IGTV episodes, my little mini reviews I put up there on IGTV for you guys. Other than that, I hope everybody is very happy and very healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.